My name is Lizzie Wrobel. I'm the head of digital at Ryder, and I'm part of a multidisciplinary team that works together to provide our online bereavement support. So it's a bit of a different angle to people we've had speaking so far this morning, but hopefully there'll be some things of interest in there. So for those of you who don't know who Ryder are, that's our mission there on the screen. We support people through the most difficult times of our lives, and we have 3 pillars to our work. We provide palliative care through 7 palliative care and hospice centres across the UK. We have 4 neurological care centres where we look after people with life-limiting conditions, and we also provide bereavement support, and some of that is online and some of that is also done in person through our palliative care centres. So today I'm here to talk specifically about our online bereavement offer. Just a note that we provide support to people in the UK only, and it's adult services, so we don't provide support for children, and all of the support that we provide online is free. So there are 4 services that we offer online. We have an online peer-to-peer community discussion forum. We provide short-term counselling via video. We provide online advice, resources and tools for self-help for people who are struggling with their grief. And we also provide a new service of one-way and text-based support, SMS support to people's mobile phones. So to talk first about our online bereavement community, this was the first of our services that we launched online back in 2015. And for Ryder, it was the first national offer that we had, because everything previously was based out of our centres, so it was limited to those geographical areas. So it's launched in 2015. It's a fairly traditional discussion forum. The important thing to note about it is that it is peer-to-peer, so we don't provide professional support through this. This is a peer-to-peer place where people struggling with bereavement, with grief, can come and they can talk to other people who are going through similar experiences at the same time. So it's available 24/7 because it's online. As I said, we don't provide professional support through the community, but we do moderate it so that we can keep it a safe and supportive space for members. So we have a full-time online community manager, and we also have an out-of-hours agency that provide moderation evenings, weekends, bank holidays, every day of the year. It includes Christmas Day, includes New Year's Day, for example. You don't have to be a member to come and read the posts, and we know that a lot of people do come and they don't join up. They do read posts and they do read threads, and that they get support from that. But if you want to post, if you want to reply to a thread, if you want to interact in any way, then you do have to sign up and become a member. There's also a private message option so that you don't have to talk publicly about the things that you want to, and you can talk one-to-one with people through the private message option, but you can also set up group chats through that. Just to give you a sense of the scale of the online community. So we have had in the last year around 50,000 posts in total. It's around 150 per day, and more than 400,000 sessions. So that shows the kind of volume that we're getting of people who are coming and they're reading, but they're not necessarily themselves wanting at that point to set up an account and engage. Earlier this year, we did probably the most in-depth piece of research that we've done with our community members, and what we've found really is that the shared experience is key for them. That's the benefit that they really get. It's an anonymous forum, so people set up with a username and an email address. That's all the information that they need to give. And members really appreciate having the space to be really honest about their feelings with no fear or judgment. Many people in the community have really supportive friends and family around them, but there are always things that they don't feel that they can say to those people because they're worried about how people might perceive those feelings. The people close to them might also be struggling with their grief for the same person as well. But the online community provides this really safe space to allow people to just be really, really honest. And there's this quote that I've put on there. On these forums, nobody's putting labels out. No one's telling you your grief is wrong and you don't fit the pattern. So the second of our services that I want to talk about quickly today is our online bereavement counselling service. So we launched this in 2018 because we had seen from the online community that there was kind of this unmet need nationally to provide some bereavement support. We did provide face-to-face to some of our palliative care centres and our hospices, through our family support teams. Some of those were with professional counsellors, sometimes that's with trained volunteers. And we saw that there was an opportunity to be able to provide this kind of support online as well. Again, because through our centres, people have had lost someone in one of our centres to be able to access that support. So by going online, again, we can take things nationally. So we provide short-term support via video chat. It's with a qualified counsellor. There's an assessment first to check suitability. Not everyone is suitable for counselling. Not everyone might be ready or at the right stage in their grief where counselling is going to be most effective for them. And then they get up to 6 weekly sessions that are about 45 minutes long. Again, just to give you a sense of scale, we've delivered over 9,000 sessions so far. And the waiting time is around 2.5 weeks from registering to having your first counselling session. So we've managed to really get that down over the last couple of years. I'm very pleased with it. I'm going to give you a bit of a break from hearing my voice and play this video of Alice, who has gone through our...
I think sometimes grief is a little bit like looking at the sun. You can't. You kind of skirt your eyes over it and you look away. Mum was 53 when she died, and I was 26. It's quite a lonely feeling in what's meant to be an exciting part of your life. The person I would have spoken to about this kind of thing was my mum, and she wasn't there anymore. As things were getting tougher for me and I was feeling I needed to speak with someone, I accessed Sue Ryder's bereavement counselling service through their website. And I was contacted really, really quickly about starting some one-on-one sessions. At my initial assessment, I met with the counsellor. He was lovely. And I think he could see that I was ready to start some counselling. There were questions asked that were quite difficult to answer, that other people in my life wouldn't have asked me. That really meant a lot to me. Before the counselling, I don't think I realised how much of an impact it was having on my relationships in my life. The more I talk about Mum, the more safe and relaxed I feel talking about Mum. And having this counselling really started that process for me. When I was ready, it made such a difference to my family and to me. We started to enjoy doing things together again. The way Sue Ryder supports those going through grief is really amazing. I didn't necessarily want to feel less sad, but I wanted to take some control back over my feelings in my life. And with the counselling, we did that.
So we've had a busy year so far in 2022 and launched 2 new services. So the first of those is Grief Guide, which launched in April. Throughout the pandemic, we saw some increases in people accessing bereavement support online. And as John mentioned earlier, we know that we are heading towards a greater need for palliative care in this country, and the result of that will also be more people needing grief and bereavement support. So we kind of wanted to get a bit ahead of the curve and think about what else it was that we could offer. So we did some research, and what the research showed us was that what people really wanted was some tools that they could look at themselves, information online, self-help, before going and looking for professional support. So that was the gap that we decided to fill. So Grief Guide, broadly speaking, has information and tools to help people understand and cope with their grief. We have expert authored articles, we have case studies, video content. So there's a big range of the way that we're presenting information. And we also have some tools as well. So we have a journaling tool to allow people to keep track of how they're feeling day to day. And we also have a memory box function as well, which allows people to kind of build an online memory box with photos, music, notes about the person who they're grieving. We also recently added this "How are you feeling?" function. We know that sometimes when people are looking for grief and bereavement support, they can feel a little bit all over the place. They don't want to be presented with a lot of information. They want to just be shown stuff that is going to help them. So we came up with this method of signposting people and surfacing the content within the web platform based on how people are feeling. So we've got this "I am feeling," and you can then choose from the drop down, and it will then just surface the content that's based for you. So you don't have to worry about looking for things using certain words, using certain type of terminology. And overall, we're finding that it's helping people explore their emotions and feelings. This is the most kind of co-created product that we've launched. We had a service user panel of around 45 people who helped us throughout the design process, helping to prioritise kind of content themes that they needed, and also helping us to prioritise which tools it was that we launched with. And then just at the end of July, we launched a Grief Coach, which is one-way text message support. So it's personalised based on the subscriber's loss. So the minimum information that someone has to put in is their mobile phone number, the name of the person who has died, and their relationship with that person. People can choose to add a lot more information, circumstances around the death, if there are any holidays that are particularly important to them, any dates, any anniversaries that are particularly important. And then what happens is we've got there's this kind of huge library of messages, and based on what someone has entered into the system when they sign up, they'll then get a couple of text messages a week, 2 to 3 text messages that just provide some little prompts, things to think about. Sometimes it might be some exercises that people might want to do, kind of some mindfulness stuff. There's 12 months of support for subscribers. And what is really interesting about this is that there is also an option for people to add what we call supporters. So we recognise that there is there might be for one person grieving who signs up to Grief Coach, they will have people around them who want to support them but might be struggling with how to give them that support. So people can add 2 supporters onto their subscription. Those people will then also get messages each week while the subscriber's getting their messages that give them some prompts of things that they can do to help and support that person. Which segues quite nicely into just the last thing that I wanted to talk about. So this came in early 2021, and again, I think through the backdrop of the pandemic, it became really clear that we had a nation of people who were grieving and a nation of people who wanted to support people who were grieving but really didn't know how to do that. We sometimes aren't very good about talking about grief and death. We find it uncomfortable, but we know that the people who we care about and who we love, who we know are going through difficult times, we want to be able to help them, but we often don't quite know how to do that. So we launched our Grief Kind campaign last summer. So a national campaign designed to help people, support people they love who are struggling with grief. And we've provided a range of support through Grief Kind. Most popular has been our alternative sympathy cards. We've nearly had 100,000 packs of those ordered. So it's 4 cards. They come with tips and advice about things that you can say, things that you can do to help support the person who is grieving. People can sign up to an email series to get advice through their straight into their inbox from Bianca, who's our head of bereavement. We have a podcast with celebrities talking about their experiences of grief and what it was that the people around them did that helped them. And we have some video masterclasses as well with our bereavement experts, which are all available on YouTube, I should say. That's everything that I wanted to talk about today. If you want any more information on anything that I've spoken about, sueryder.org/support will take you through to a page with all of those services that I talked about.